I appreciate it. Before we jump into Q&A, I kind of want to lay the ground floor a little bit more to kind of talk about, with Tom here on the line. This is Tom Bullock, one of our founding members at Tapestry and Complementix, of what we've done in the past and does this make sense? So some of the questions I get, and by the way, I love the questions. If you have questions, you can contact us at our website or email me at walter@tapestry, is like, how do you monetize this data? Does this data have value? Do you have buyers? So those are some of the questions that we get a lot. So I will take this time just to walk you through kind of a bit background on my previous company and what we plan on doing here at Tapestry as well. So here you see a back office of Complementix collecting data. So hopefully you guys can all see my screen. You see here I'm highlighting the United States, and that I see roughly 410 million devices. This is right now, right? This is not what we've done in the past. This is like today. We see all these hundreds of millions of phones coming on. Obviously, people get new phones constantly, and that's increased as many cell companies allow you to just pay a monthly fee and just get a new iPhone or get a new Google or Samsung phone. And also you can see worldwide that we have so many different devices. Some of the questions come up is, do we want to launch internationally? Absolutely. I mean, we see value in Brazil, Indonesia, and Germany, and Bangladesh, and Iraq. Of course, we want to launch internationally as well. So what do we do with this data? That becomes the question. Number one, have you done this before? Yes, we have done this. We've been doing this for years. Here's the amount of data that we currently see in the United States. What do you do with it? So I'll give you a few examples. Let's first start with a pretty fun example. So this is Carl Quintilla. You may know him. He's on CNBC with Squawk on the Street. This is an example of how we at Complementix use mobile location data to look at Disneyland, right? So Disneyland was launching this new Star Wars Galaxy Edge attraction. And the question becomes, was it good? Was it successful? Did people actually go to this new attraction? And you ask the question again, who would know? Well, Disney would know, but they're a publicly traded company. They're really not going to give out this information to other people. Well, we would know at Complementix. And in this exchange, we sold data to Barclays. And then Barclays did the actual research to show that, yeah, people did this specific example didn't go pretty well. It was actually a poorly launched. And you could see us as the source of data here. So that's an example of just theme parks. And in this example, you'll see as well, this has nothing to do about personally identifiable information. It doesn't care about Walter or Tom or Georgia or Stephanie or Chuck. It's completely anonymous. Another example, let's kind of go into visualization, is Nashville. So here you will actually see, and I am taking the time to be specific here intentionally, and this is recorded so you guys all can share this later. Every single line you see here is a unique phone. And this box that they're actually representing is a parking lot, right? So the question becomes, this is our client who's in downtown Nashville. If they parked at our parking lot, where did they come from? What the client wanted to do was create dynamic pricing. So if you're from Tennessee, you get a lower price, but if you're outside from Tennessee, you get a higher price. Makes sense. So the question becomes again, how would they know where the person came from? Mobile location data, right? So what we did is we drew little geographic polygons around all these parking lots. And then we said, dear database, where was this phone hours ago? Where was this phone 24 hours, 48 hours ago? And as you begin to zoom out, you can see the power of this data. So they were all in this parking lot. But as I zoom out in the United States, you can clearly see, and this takes a little bit of time to load, they came from everywhere. They came from the Northeast, the South, let's move this. They came from the West, out in Alaska. And then we had even this one single person who came all the way, where'd you come from? I think it's like Israel and Tel Aviv. So who would have access to this data? Well, the big social companies, the search companies, but we see the value completely anonymously of understanding human movement ultimately across the world. And when we collect this data, we're going to pay you for it. And when we monetize it, we do it anonymously. I'll give you one more example on a visualization. Here is a client of ours. They own an outlet mall in Allen, Texas, for all the Texans here on the call. The question becomes, they're competing against another outlet mall right here. So let me change this to a satellite so you can actually see it. All right, so this is the Village at Allen. Here's another outlet mall right here. Do people go to both? That's the question, right? Do people come here, go to Ulta Beauty, go to Best Buy? There's a Topgolf location right here. You can actually see it. And do people go to both? And as I just highlight phones, right, you can actually see the device ID tied to that unique phone. You can also see at times the phone itself. So it's an Apple iPhone. That's the carrier code, which is an AT&T, and the point of interest that we actually see that phone at. That's Guitar Center. This data is already available. It's already being monetized. The distinction is we're going to you directly to monetize it completely anonymously. And clearly this data has value, right? So we were able to tell this client that, yeah, you know, get 30% of people who went there that weekend also went here. And another pressing example for last year with COVID-19 is people working from home, right? So one of our clients, Barclays as well, was looking at our location data and showing that, you know, generally people who made over $100,000 a year, 60% of those people were able to work from home. Those who made under $40,000 a year, I'll get 40% of those people were able to work from home. All done anonymously, able to monetize. And we believe that many customers and clients want access to this data, but they should get it ethically. In a culture right now, we're so concerned about like ethically sourced meat. We think brands should use ethically sourced data where the consumer has consented, they understand their data is valuable, they're getting paid for it, and they can also participate in the value exchange. So just wanted to lay the foundation there of kind of where the data goes, how do we use it, have we done this before? We've been doing it for quite a while, and now we look to break out of the mold and do it directly with you, the consumer. So at this time, we'll kind of open up to Q&A.
That was excellent, Walter. Thank you so much. Would you mind just going back to the one screen that showed all the lines?
Sure.
Like, I just think it's really interesting how we call the app Tapestry, and I think that gives a really good visual of the reason why we call it Tapestry. What you
Yes.
say, when you say anonymous location device IDs, that's what you're looking at right there, correct?
Exactly right. Completely anonymous. We don't know who these people are. It's a completely anonymous aspect for us. It's just a phone that went to this location, but they went to a location that was interesting to us or one of our clients. So that's the key. I think there's one other one I didn't show you. This is another one. You know, this is Liz Sanders. If you know her, you guys are finance folks. She's the chief investment officer at Charles Schwab, and she's quoting our data as well. So we're in the finance space specifically. I feel like people know about this and we're kind of known, but for the average consumer, they have no idea. And that's the mold that we're trying to break. We think the average consumer should know about this and get paid for it.